Satterley.
Here.
Roger Spencer.
Here.
Madonna Allen.
We all please stand and join me in our pledge of allegiance and the invocation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Would you pray with me? Gracious God, we come before you today for another meeting of the Junction Board of Alderman. We give you all the glory and the honor and acknowledge you as our creator and provider of all things. You know all things, and we humbly ask for your wisdom. God, as we begin this meeting, we ask that you would guide us in our thoughts and our actions, that we may be guided and directed by you to take care of the community you have entrusted to us. Please help us to make all decisions according to your will and your character. We ask and we pray all these things in your mighty name. Amen.
Thank you, Rick. Next is approval of the agenda. Are there any comments or corrections to the agenda?
Make a motion, we approve the agenda as typed.
Second.
Motion by Roger Spencer, second by Rick Flynn to approve the agenda as presented. All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. 6 in the affirmative, 2 absent. The agenda is approved. Next is the consent agenda, which is the approval of the minutes of the previous meeting and approval of disbursements. Are there any comments or corrections to the consent agenda?
I move we approve this consent agenda.
Second. Motion by Rick Flynn, second by Gary Stubblefield. All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. 6 in the affirmative with no absent. Consent agenda is approved. Next is public forum. Anyone wishing to speak at public forum? Got a lot of people here. Surely you guys got something to say.
Just cheers.
Just cheers. Okay, well, thank you for not making me read this statement then. Very well, last chance for public forum. Okay, we'll move right along then. Next is ordinances. An ordinance amending ordinance 2108, adding entry-level salaries and maximum salary levels for the police department and public works. Would anyone like to put it on first reading?
I move that we put this on first reading. Second.
Motion by Mark Satterley, second by Roger Spencer to put this ordinance on first reading by title only. Will the clerk please read the title?
An ordinance amending ordinance number 2108 as amended by ordinance number 2135, establishing salaries for city employees by changing effective date of the passage of this ordinance and the entry-level salaries and maximum level salaries in the police department and public works department.
Discussion. Since our budget chairman isn't here.
Since Budget Committee had a meeting yesterday and they talked about this and they're recommending approval.
Make a motion, we put it on second reading by title only. Second.
Motion by Roger Spencer, second by Mark Satterley, put this ordinance on second reading by title only. Will the clerk please read the title?
An ordinance amending ordinance number 2108 as amended by ordinance number 2135, establishing salaries for city employees by changing effective date of the passage of this ordinance, the entry-level salaries and maximum level salaries in the police department and the public works department.
Any further discussion?
I move we put it on final passage.
Second.
Motion by Rick Flynn, second by Roger Spencer to put this ordinance on final passage. It's a hand vote to go to electronic voting. All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. 6 in the affirmative, please vote. 2 absent, please vote electronically. 6 yeses with 2 absents, the ordinance passes. And that's ordinance
21-36.
Next is an ordinance approving an agreement with Ace Pipe to complete wastewater collection system rehabilitation.
It's easy for you to say.
I move we put this ordinance on first reading by title only.
Second, sir.
Motion by Rick Flynn, second by Gary Stubblefield to put this ordinance on first reading by title only. Will the clerk please read the title?
And ordinance approving an agreement between the city of Junction, Missouri and Ace Pipe Cleaning Incorporated to commence and complete the 2021 wastewater collection system rehabilitation as directed by the city in accordance with the contract documents for a cost not to exceed $139,911.89. And authorizing the mayor and/or city administrator to execute said agreement for and on behalf of the city of Carl Junction, Missouri.
Discussion. Steve?
This is the second step in our taking care of our wastewater system this year. We had the smoke testing done earlier in this year. What this does is that smoke testing identified places that we needed to do some work. This actually puts in place the work to be done on that, which was identified. It also will do some cleaning and cammering of the sewer lines so that if it wasn't identified in smoke testing, it will get identified with the cleaning and cammering that will happen.
Anybody on budget want to comment on it?
There is more than enough money in the I&I fund to pay for this.
That's what I wanted to hear. Any further discussion?
I move that we move the second reading for title only.
Second.
Motion by Mark Satterley, second by Rick Flynn to put this ordinance on second reading by title only. Will the clerk please read the title?
And orders approving an agreement between the city of Carl Junction, Missouri and Ace Pipe Cleaning Incorporated to commence and complete the 2021 wastewater collection system rehabilitation as directed by the city in accordance with the contract documents for a cost not to exceed $139,911.89. And authorizing the mayor and or city administrator to execute said agreement for and on behalf of the city of Carl Junction, Missouri.
Any further discussion?
Move to put this on final passage.
Second.
Motion by Rick Flynn, second by Roger Spencer to put this ordinance on final passage. It's a hand vote. To go to electronic voting. All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. 6 in the affirmative with 2 absent. Please vote electronically. The ordinance passes 6 in the affirmative with 2 absent. And is ordinance number?
21-37.
Thank you. Next is ordinance appointing a new chief of police / emergency management director.
Go ahead.
First reading.
I make a motion, we go to first reading by title only.
Second.
Motion by Rick Flynn, second by Gary Stubblefield to put this ordinance on first reading by title only. Will the clerk please read the title?
And orders appointing Mark McCall as the new chief of police emergency management director to the city of Carl Junction to serve the ensuing year until new officers duly appointed.
Discussion. We had a committee. Steve, do you want to just explain the process that we went through to select a new chief of police?
Sure. After Dem's retirement, we put an ad out, not only in local paper, but also with the Missouri Chiefs of Police Association and with MML. We got several applications in that period was open for approximately 30 days. We had a search committee, interview committee put together that included another city administrator, a couple of ex-chiefs of police, from the area, and a representative from the school district. They met, they went through all of the applications and made the decision that Mr. McCall would best suit the city and their needs, and they made that recommendation to the HR committee. And then a couple of weeks after,
When HR talk?
We met on this and we agreed with them to hire from within. And that's why we took it all the way.
Because of that, I wish to appoint Mark McCall for this ordinance. Any other comments? Did we understand what we did and how the thoroughness that we went through to find the police chief? Well, then we probably should have a second reading by title only.
Move that we-
Second reading. Motion by Gary Stubblefield, second by Mark Sadley to put this ordinance on second reading by title only. Will the clerk please read the title?
And orders appointing Mark McCall as the new chief of police emergency management director to the city of Carl Junction to serve the ensuing year until the new officer is duly appointed.
Is there any further discussion?
Make a motion, we move this forward.
second.
Motion by Roger Spencer, second by Rick Flynn, to put this ordinance on final passage. It's a hand vote to go to electronic voting. All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. 6 in the affirmative, please vote electronically. 6 in the affirmative with 2 absent, and that is ordinance number
21-38.
21-38. Hello, Mark. Congratulations.
Oh, that's cheap. That's cheap now.
Call, pardon me. Do we need to do anything? Does he have to do any oath or anything like that or anything?
Yeah, he already has an oath of office on record.
Sounds good to me. Thank you.
Very good. No speech or anything?
You want to say anything?
Just like to thank the officers and dispatchers here to support me. They're the ones that make it happen.
Very good, very good. Next,
And of
or
course, thank you to the city for giving me the
okay.
We was waiting on that.
Very good, very good. Next is administration reports. Are there any comments, questions, or things to say to the city administrator? Give that his report.
I do have a couple of updates to it. First one on the old business is the MoDOT with Anderson Engineering, and what we've found out is that we can do the curb and guttering and the stormwater piping with the ARPA funds. We can't do the sidewalks because that is federal money coming down to us that we would match, and they don't allow for match of federal funds for it. The other is we'll have to go into the. I'll go into the ARPA by itself under old business later on.
Okay. Let's see. Nothing new on the grant for Lakeside Park. Let's see.
Nope.
You already went over Ace Pie, and you're gonna go over ARP and your old business. Okay. Anything else?
Was
Steve?
Quail's Nest? No, I'll do that under old business too.
Okay. Anything else? I see you got something on time clocks.
Okay, we have been researching going into time clock system, and we are still in the course of looking at a couple of them. We were hoping to have it all been finalized, but they're going to email kind of put us behind. But the two that we are still looking at, one of them is actually sponsored by Encode. It's one of the Encode's programs. So they sent us a video, and I'm trying to get an estimate from them as what it costs just to add that module onto them. And hopefully it'll come out not too bad. We found the initial cost is not all that bad. It's the ongoing costs that sometimes get you. So we are looking at different options, trying to keep it as cheap as possible. But if you look at the information that I laid in front of you, every one of them that we have talked to so far said that we could save like $20,000 just in manpower alone, let alone, making sure the time is accurate, making sure that it's being processed properly. I myself find that hard to believe, but
Well,
they have a formula they go by, and the one that I put out there actually was the cheapest at $20,000. I had some as high as $25,000 annual savings by going to a time clock system and time management system. So
but like I say, I learned this a long time ago. The only way you can save $20,000 worth of time is to lay somebody off.
well, but this is supposed to save, well, that's true.
That's the only way you're gonna save $1.
But what they're saying is the time that it takes for a person to go through the payroll, go through the time sheets, go through a manual input, allows them time to spend doing something else. And putting a dollar value to that is what they've done. Not that you're saving
can't-
that, but they're just gonna be able to do
They
other
can't.
things.
The only way you can save $1 is to not spend $1.
Exactly. And I know what you're saying.
Okay,
I don't disagree.
that's what these salesmen use all the time.
But it would be nice to have something that will actually import it in, which is what a couple of them actually will do, is once they clock in and we look at different clock systems, and one of them is a fingerprint system, one of them's an iPad, and then you have the manual ones, but, we're looking more at something more electronic so that it's exact and all that's imported in. There's no manual calculations on timesheets, just are imported directly into the payroll. So if they're 5 or 10 minutes late, then they're gonna be about 5 or 10 minutes, whatever. So anyway, that's what we're looking into. We'll see. We're not totally committed to it, but we would like to go to a time clock of some kind. So anyway,
Electronically instead of paper.
yes.
We'll save a sheet of paper then, every month. Well, that's significant.
A ream.
I mean, that's how you save money, because you don't spend money buying paper. That's how you save money. Anything else? The city administrator?
On the time clock, are we having issues with pay as far as overpaying or underpaying because of errors?
We have no idea.
I guess it was underpaying.
You got an idea.
Well,
I was trying to ask with all these people sitting out here.
right now we just do a honor system. They fill out the timesheet and yes, I got air date. Yes, I went to 5 o'clock. This is more of a making sure that they're clocking their time accurately.
All right, anything else for the city administrator? Very well, then we'll go on to department reports. We get a building inspectors this time?
It's there.
I think it's in my inbox, I didn't bring it with me. Or is it in the packet?
It's in the packet.
And,
Oh,
should be in the paper.
yeah, okay. Any comments about the building inspector's report?
Looks like we're still roofing.
Roof's still number one. Oh, no. Final inspections being done by one.
Oh, you're kidding.
No,
All you did, didn't it?
yeah, okay. 247 inspections. Wow. Further comments, anybody?
Been busy.
Then we'll go to the police report. Any comments for our new chief of police? You know,
Yeah, one thing. Mark, on this number 3 here about the pipe bomb thing.
Yeah.
What made them decide where it come from?
We got, actually the FBI called Detective Castleberry and told her that they have a confidential informant that told them it's a gang-related deal, and actually the victim herself came in a day or two after that, and her son happens to be one of the gang members, and so that's pretty much where it's going at this point.
Okay, thank you.
As far as I know, we're still waiting on the ATF to come and get the evidence detected and all that.
Thank you.
anything else for the chief? Very well then, let's go to Public Works. I think we all have that in front of us, don't we?
Thought I had one here.
I got one. A lot of busy water meters. That doesn't seem like fun work either. Anything for Jay? Anything Public Works at all?
Looks like they've been busy too.
They're always busy. What are we gonna do about leaf this year?
I'll have a leave schedule for you at the next meeting.
Okay. Very good then. We'll go on to committee reports. Budget and Finance, Ladonna's not here. Gilbert, Bob, you think say anything? I think we already discussed, we had the meeting yesterday. Code and nuisance, Rick?
Nothing at this time.
Human Resources, Roger?
Nothing.
Public facilities, Bob?
Nothing at this time.
Senior citizens, I would say Gary, but I'll say Richard.
I don't have anything.
Oh,
Gary,
Well,
come on.
being much younger, I have one thing. The senior center is going to host a drive-through flu clinic by reservation only, October 13th from 1:30 to 3 p.m.
So you get the flu if you drive through?
Something like that. I didn't ask for a lot of details.
That's the
I
13th.
don't know on cost.
That's the 13th?
The 13th from 1:30 to 3. But you
Okay.
do need to reserve with Tammy Lynch.
Okay, very good. Anything else? Anything for senior citizens? Nothing else? Very well, then we'll move on to unfinished business. Bob?
I have none.
Gary?
No, sir.
Rick?
No, sir.
Roger?
nothing.
I have nothing. Mark?
I have nothing, sir.
Jim?
No, sir.
Mr. Talley?
No.
Lena?
No, sir.
Mary Beth?
Yes, sir.
Crystal?
Yes, sir.
Steve?
Yes, sir.
There goes our time.
First is I got an update from the engineers on the Quail's Nest stormwater project. There are 3 separate landowners involved in this. The first 2 have done a general consensus that they agree that it ought to be done and have a general idea of how the project would work. Still waiting on the third one, which is asking for a guarantee that we will not flood him. And Kurt's not quite sure how to address that. But anyway, it is moving forward. It's been an extremely slow process, but there's a lot of moving parts on it. And we've had to go back and redesign it at one time because of the first landowner, and so it still works. The curb and guttering along Pinal, I covered earlier, it come in at $148,000 for an estimate. Gary had asked a couple of months ago, and I had taken a couple other phone calls before. There was a business operating in behind the car wash. That's been addressed through the code enforcement officer, and there has been some tickets issued and some contact have been made with both the people that own the car wash and that business owner too. So
Right,
hopefully
there's a
we should
6-foot
see-
log right now.
we should
Out
see
into the street.
some change there. We were waiting on, I've got everything into DNR for our reimbursement for that first phase of the Center Creek bank stabilization. So we're just waiting on those funds to come back in. We have a estimate on the second phase of it. I will be asking the county if they have any of that stormwater grant money available for that project also before we move forward on it. But we'll do that after we get this first one reimbursed and closed out. That's all I have.
That's it.
Yes, sir.
Jeez.
Any questions about that for anybody?
Thank you for the follow-up.
Mark, any unfinished business?
The only thing Steve asked me today about the radio system project that was discussed when Delmer was here. Brian Harford actually given us a quote for new radio system and everything. I've got a meeting next Wednesday with April at Jasco, the director over there, and Brian to see about updates and upgrades we need to make for that before we go forward with it.
Okay, good. Jay?
Blevins should be here in 2.5 weeks to start asphalt, and Denali Water Solutions should be here to haul or slud within 4 weeks.
Good. Good. I don't know, what roads? What roads you gonna black
They're
out?
all over. They're everywhere, scattered, little pieces.
Okay.
Good deal.
New business. Jim?
No, sir.
Mark?
I don't think so.
I have nothing new. Roger?
Nothing.
Rick?
No, sir.
Harry? Bob?
No, sir.
Mr. Talley?
Nothing there.
Lena?
No, sir.
Mary Beth?
I just hope that the council enjoyed their intermail sessions and that they learned a lot up there. And I thought it was pretty educational for the most part.
It was. I was Yeah,
Yeah, there's a lot of
a lot of information.
interesting topics about it.
Yep,
You just want us to look at the sign.
that's true. Crystal,
Yes, sir.
Steve,
No, sir.
new business, Mark. Jay?
What?
New business?
No.
Okay. Is there any other business before the council?
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
Motion by Roger Spencer, second by Mark Sadler, that we adjourn. All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. 6 to the affirmative with 2 absent. We are adjourned. Thank you all very much for coming. We really appreciate having a crowd finally.
Oh, that's do make a difference.
Based on what?
Years ago. Gene Roy.